Welcome back, everybody, to Wilder Action, Birds and Bees. What have we got here? Well, we have a old lens, not a new lens. I haven't gone out and bought a new lens. This lens is going to be sold probably tomorrow. So what do we have here? We have a beautiful Nikon case that holds the exquisite Nikon 800mm PF. We have this wonderful lens, and I can tell you now, this is probably the greatest birding lens I've ever used, and I've owned quite a few Canon big whites. This has topped them all, really, in my opinion. One, because of the weight. I mean, you can see me holding this. I'll take my arm off the table so you can see it's very easy to hold. As some of you know, I had a dilemma a few months ago, and I'm fully transitioning into an insect in flight photographer. I still love my birds, but this winter, I haven't even been out a handful of times. Literally, my 5 fingers, I've not even been out 5 times. I'm not sure if I can justify this lens. I can justify it, but I don't want to justify this lens anymore. I love it, but it's not really a me lens anymore. And it's better to use the equipment that suits you rather than stuff you don't need. So this is going to get traded tomorrow for another system. But while I've still got this, I'll tell you again what makes this so special to me. I love the little rubber that it's got in here. That is on quite a few big lenses like this. I don't know if some people probably wouldn't like this grip. I like this grip. It's just the right amount for me. It's not too long. Some of them, when they get too long, it's not nice to hold. It hasn't got the fingered grips. It's just the flat grip inside there. It sounds really stupid. This metal's not cold metal, so it doesn't actually make your hands too cold when it is cold. It's very cold in this outbuilding at the moment. I just had the heater on for about 2 seconds, but it's not going to heat up the room. I'm surprised I'm not blowing out steam from my mouth because it's that cold. It has the hooks here. I've never had put anything on there because I use straps, which I put to here anyway. This textured grip here is just a textured grip. It's not for anything else but just to hold the lens. But I never really hold the lens there. I normally hold it round about there. It's got the gold ring that everybody goes on about. I'm really not worried about a gold ring. It means nothing to me. Like I've said before, same as the Canon whites, it means nothing to me that it's white. These 4 function rings here, make these whatever you want, but whatever you put on these functions will be the same all the way around. And this, you'll get this a lot with bigger lenses, and they're starting to put it on some smaller lenses now. And it's gripped here. This even more, this is not that gripped. This is quite, it's just textured here, but here it's actually gripped. So that's quite nice. But then once you put covers on these, I don't know if the manufacturers understand this, once you put the covers on these, it starts hiding these buttons. So it becomes more difficult to find them and press them. This is why this function button here is a godsend, because it's more where your hands are when I've got a camera on it, obviously. You can just flick the function button there, and I've got a memory set button here as well. If you can see that, got a memory set button right here. So they're more obtainable than these buttons around here. They're kind of not worthless, but I find them, unless you've got it on a tripod, which I never use. I'm fully handheld all the time, especially with the weight of this lens, 2.4 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds, sorry, Americans out there. 2.4 kilos for an 800mm 6.3 lens is absolutely nothing. You've got your Nikon plate there to tell you what the lens is as well. Writing on there also to tell you. It's just got everything where I need it, apart from this silly control ring. Now, the Canons I've used, if I've used it on any of their newer lenses, it's either back here, right near the mount, or it's somewhere where you can get to that's good. This would be okay, except for you bump it all the time. Because it's not a clickable ring, it's just a smooth ring, you're bumping that all the time. You're constantly moving settings, so I really just don't bother with that. I just disable it. So it's kind of a wasted feature. It could have been brilliant, but it's just a wasted feature. And Nikon, you need to get on to making that clickable on all your lenses, and move it from where you can bump it all the time. At least when it's at the back here, you can't, well, you can, but your hand, unless you want it on there, it doesn't actually sit there basically. You've got your full here and your 10 meters to infinity. It is an 800mm. It's not going to have a 2.5 meter minimum focus distance, so it is quite a long minimum focus distance. I think it's 6 meters, but it doesn't bother me because I know when I'm using this lens what I'm using it for. I really do like this lock and unlock thing here. It is a bit difficult to do it sometimes, but once it's on, it's on. It's just, you've just got a little unlock here, and you just slide that to the side, get the lens, turn it, and it's off. Click it, put it back on, and it's on. It's really quite nice. Lock here so that this can swivel around. Some people don't like the fact that it hasn't got quarter turn clicks. I'm quite all right with that, to be quite honest, because if it was on a tripod, then it's actually smooth. And especially if you're doing video, it's actually, because I like to have like a loose tripod kind of when I'm doing things like that. So you can move the lens at the same time. I wouldn't have it as loose as that, a little bit tighter than that, yeah. So you can, as you're moving, you can kind of move this round, because in a hide or wherever you, again, I don't use tripods, so I shouldn't really say this too much, but if I was in a hide, you've usually got it mounted on a table or something, and they're never straight. So as you move the gimbal around or whatever, this is not straight, so it's good to be able to just give it a slight turn rather than a click turn. I like that you can use the 1.4 teleconverter on it, which takes it from 800 6.3 to 1120 millimeters f9. And you can use a 2x teleconverter, which takes it to 1600 millimeters f13. But I can tell you now, from owning the 2x teleconverter, I don't like it on this lens. It loses so much detail. You might as well just either use the bare lens or the 1.4 teleconverter maximum. I wouldn't really be using the 2x on this. Even stop down, I've tried stopping it down, and it's not worth it. Very, 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 very good lens. Very, very, very sharp lens, and it is pretty fast to focus. It's not the fastest I've ever used, but it's fast enough to keep up with fast birds. It's absolutely just a crisp lens. I know some people are saying, oh well, the 600 is sharper and it's smaller and it's lighter, but it's 600. But a lot of people don't understand that. I know, yes, you can put the 1.4 teleconverter on it and it becomes an 840mm f9, but I live in England. We don't have a lot of light, so the more light I can keep at the 800 end, the better. So yeah, this is going to be sad to see it go, to be honest. Absolutely beautiful lens. I'm not showing you on the camera because I don't want to, for a start. And it's just nice to see the lens by itself, to be honest. And I forget how light it is when you just pick up the lens by itself. You've got your filter in the back here as well. Canon put filters in there. So they actually have a piece of glass in there that's part of the lens design. Nikon don't do that with this lens. I don't know if they do it with other lenses. Not really had that many big Nikon lenses, but there is no glass in that. So you can put your own filter in there. But yeah, so that will be going tomorrow. I'm going to be replacing it with an Olympus camera, and I'm not quite sure what lens at this moment in time, because I'm watching videos myself now on YouTube and trying to come up with the best lens that's going to suit me. I've just bought the 1-400 Nikon Z, so I don't think I really need a butterfly lens, so that will probably be for larger insects. And I already have the 105mm macro Nikon as well, so that will go. I'll have one on my Z8, one on my Z9. I would like to try a bit of stacking. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to like it, but I'm still going to go for my insects in flight. So what I might do is, because the OM system is a lot lighter, I might try and use it as a flash in flight system. I'll have a go anyway to see what it can do. I was watching a video with somebody shooting dragonflies with it earlier. Pretty impressed. He was using the bird eye control for it and seemed okay. I don't really use bird eye control for insects. I use, as I've said before in my other videos, I use a small square box in the middle. I always try and shoot for the center. And if it's got tracking on it, I'll use that. But I normally just use a small box in the middle rather than full on eye tracking, because they're insects and they're not birds, they're not animals. It's very hard for the camera to decide what to pick up, because as the guy said when he was shooting, it was picking up on wingtips and that. So yeah, I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. I'll experiment. I'm hoping the Olympus system will blow me away, not because I want to get rid of my Nikons, because I don't want to, but it would be nice to use alongside a full frame system so that I can get the best of both worlds. Like I said, I'm not sure. They've got a 300, I think it's a 300 f2.8. I'm not sure if that will suit me. And also, I'm trying to lighten the load a little bit with the size of lenses and that. So I think I'm definitely not going to get the 30mm. Apparently, they've got a 30mm macro. They've got a 60mm macro, which is a bit short for me. And they've got a 90mm macro. But what even I have to remember is none of those are the actual focal lengths, because they're all it's a 2x crop system. I think it is anyway, micro four thirds. I don't know what that actually means. But I'm pretty sure it's a 2x crop system, which means whatever lens I put on there is going to be double. So the 30 will be 60, the 60 be 120, and the 90 be 180. So 180 is really a length I really like using when it comes to macro. Also, I've heard that if you put a 1.4 on there and a 2x, you can also double up the magnification. But hopefully, because they're teleconverters, I'm not sure if people will have thought about this properly, because they're teleconverters, I'm not going to use it to try and get more magnification. I'm going to try and use it to get closer to the subject rather than magnification. Obviously it gives me magnification, but I'll shoot from a further distance to get a subject nicely in the frame. I might find a problem with that because I'm used to cropping very deeply, and it's only 24 megapixel and it's already a crop sensor. So I'm going to really give the system a chance. I'm not going to say just because it's a crop sensor, it's not going to have the power to be able to crop and things like that. I will take the pictures, see how they come out, edit them, and just keep trying and keep trying and try and improve on it. So yeah, I really will give the system a chance. Obviously you guys will be following me on that journey, and we'll see what we can do with the Olympus system. I want to try the Olympus system. This baby has to go. It's sitting on the shelf, doing nothing. I did use it it was on Christmas Day. I went out, just got to sort that video out actually. Yeah, I went out on Christmas Day to shoot owls, never saw an owl. Didn't see many birds and that, but I did do a little video. And I went out with the 1-400 as well. Saw a few deer and things like that. So I had them shooting side by side. I don't think I'm going to need this anymore, because like I said, I've not gone off birds. I've just not shooting birds anymore much. So if I do want to shoot birds, I'll just shoot it with the 1-400, maybe put a converter on it. Yes, I will be at f8, I think it will be, because they're 5.6. Yeah, so I'll be at f8 with a 1.4 on there. That'll take me up to about 560mm. Hopefully that should be nearabouts enough. I do worry about lenses with video now as well. So I need to make sure that they've got good stabilization for video and things like that. And this was brilliant with stabilization. The 1-400 was brilliant is brilliant with stabilization as well. The 400 that I used to use was brilliant, but it was just a fixed 400. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm going to need any other birding lenses anymore. I'm thinking I'm pretty much going to be able to just go out with I could hopefully just go out with a 1-400 and shoot everything I want to shoot, just not in such detailed macro formers like with a macro lens. But obviously I'll have my macro lens with me as well, and then maybe this OM system. So I could be sporting 3 cameras at once. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully I'll update you tomorrow. We'll see what we get. I do talk to the guys in my shop where I go. I'll give them a quick plug because they are brilliant and they do talk me through everything. And everybody I've known that I've talked to so far has actually been a photographer. They're not just salespeople. They actually do photography. Yeah, it's Park Cameras. The one I go to is in London because I can't get to their other one. They've got 2 shops. I think one's in Suffolk, I think it's in. But I always go to the one in Central, and it's just off Oxford Street. And I just think they're great guys down there, and they talk to me nicely. They help me out. They try to give me good advice. They do give me good advice. Sorry, not they try to, they do. So hopefully they'll give me a good price for this tomorrow. They don't even know I'm doing this video, by the way. I was supposed to speak to their manager and I never did. Hopefully they won't be too unhappy about that because they're getting a good plug here. But park cameras off Oxford Street. Yeah. Sorry. I'm a bit apprehensive about letting this go, but it has to be done. I will see you on the next episode